and this is what I wanted to point out too, because we're going to talk about two real quick, and then we're going to get out of coffee and on to the next thing. But the beginning, like a beginner setup, like a good beginner coffee setup, I am under the impression, because there's a lot of opinions on this. I'm under the impression, because I'm a big fan of taking pretentiousness out of coffee,
Okay.
because it becomes big, like, it's just big, like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
you drink Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah. Well, think about what I said at the very beginning
Yeah.
about what's it called?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it was
anyways.
like, it's good or it's bad or
Mhm.
whatever. I'm a big fan of like, let's just get the best thing for you that you're gonna use.
Yeah.
Like
right.
I could buy
like
my mom and dad a Chemex.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they might use it occasionally, but like consistently, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's like the best coffee setup for you in the beginning is the one that you use.
Mm.
Now within that, there's some things you can like add and do. Fresh beans, I would say, are huge. If you can get fresh beans, that'll completely change things. If you can do whole bean versus ground coffee, which there's a whole science behind that we don't have to
Right.
get into, that'll help some things. But if you're using a drip, if you're using a French press, if you're using like whatever you got, I'd say what you're gonna use is the best.
Right.
Because sometimes I think what happens in coffee,
Try hard.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like if
Right.
you don't use a Kalita wave with a fellow kettle so that you
Yep.
can tell that your water is at 196.8
Yes.
degrees,
Then what are you doing?
then like, yeah, you aren't even getting the experience that the farmer intended.
Right.
And it's like-
we turn into snobs.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, first off, a lot of farmers are just trying to make a living, so
Uh-huh.
shut your face.
Uh-huh.
Second off, like if I'm not going to use this long term. So all that to say, best setup, the one you use.
Is your setup.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think like everything you're saying is so true. You got me onto the AeroPress.
Yeah.
And like it is convenient and
Yeah.
it's on the move. I actually whipped it out yesterday.
Oh yeah,
I went camping like a month ago.
yeah.
Literally left part of it in some Airbnb.
Sick.
I was so bummed. I was watching this guy. His name's Alexander Mills.
Yeah.
One of my favorite coffee Instagrammers.
Yeah.
You should check him out. We'll link him.
Yeah.
And he was just doing a pretty cool pour with the AeroPress.
Oh,
I was like,
sick.
man, I haven't used this in a
Oh, wow.
while.
Yeah.
And so I went, got some ice.
Yeah.
And just went to the very last step. I was like, oh great, I don't have literally a higher piece of AeroPress.
Right. You're like, this is not gonna work.
So I just threw it all away. I was pretty bummed. But
Well, they're like $35, I think.
Yeah.
I guess if it's like if you're gonna press me and say like what should I for sure get as a beginner, French press is like probably the easiest because it's literally you grind coffee and pour in water.
Yeah.
AeroPress, the only step you're adding is you're pressing.
yeah, I would say the AeroPress.
So I'd say the AeroPress. Like, if I was gonna like start
Mm-hmm.
all over again, I would probably start the AeroPress.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to get fun when you get into pour overs
Yeah.
because it's a lot more technical.
Right.
So it's like there's like more skill involved in it.
Even the messing up is fun.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
process. So if you're like, oh, this is all kind of boring, that gets kind of fun. But at the end of the day, it's like, bro, just don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. So, anyways, that's I'm getting off my soapbox. I've just had a lot of conversations with a lot of coffee people, and it's like, okay, you need to chill a little bit. You're saying a lot of things definitively that I don't think are definitive, my guy. Or girl.
Right.